Hello, everyone in Can XR virtual land. We are about to start the dev showcase for the second day of the festival. Let me click a couple of buttons. I wish there was a way for me to do all of this business like instantaneously, but there's like 3 or 4 things I have to do back to back before I can give you my undivided attention. All right, so this should be made nice and big. Is it nice and big? It is nice and big. Okay, is everyone seeing my screen? Is it working? Welcome to the Marché du Film conferences. Today we are going to be talking to some really remarkable artists. It's still very early. I haven't finished my cup of coffee yet, and it was a late night. The projects we're hearing about today, there's 4 of them. The title of this pitch session is Entering the Mindscape. And these are all projects that probe the psychological depths of humanity in one form or another. And you're gonna, I think, go down the rabbit hole and not wanna leave, because these are all really beautiful, interesting, fun projects from some really remarkable artists. My name is René Pinnell, and I'm the founder of Kaleidoscope. I'm going to give you a little bit of a background around how we came to select these projects and what we do at Kaleidoscope, and then I'm going to hand it over to the artists. So we've been running Kaleidoscope for about 5 years now, actually closer to 6 now. We started in 2014, I guess. And we've always been dedicated to helping artists raise money. We think that this is like the most important thing that artists need help with. But we are deeply committed to the idea of community and helping each other. And so what we do is we have artist grants that are funded by the community and curated by the community. We have events like the one you're attending right now, which are curated by the community as well as leaders from the community. We had a remarkable group of curators for this particular showcase, which I'll talk about before we hand it over to the artists. And then we do a lot of networking. This is a relationship-based business, and it's so important to make friends and to get to know folks that are doing interesting work so that you can collaborate or support one another. We are about 4,000 members. Probably by the end of this event, we'll reach 4,000. We've got over 1,000 projects on Kaleidoscope, and we've raised, or the artists on our platform have raised a little more than $32 million, which proves that there is money out there for interesting art, VR, XR, AR projects. It is always hard to raise money, but it can be done. Just a little bit more about how we run our artist grants. So we've got 6 grants that are live right now. Each grant is recurring. Every month it's awarded. And again, our members are the ones who fund these grants. We have a free membership to be a part of Kaleidoscope, but then we have several paid tiers. And what we do is we pool all of those resources, all that money that our members, our paying members contribute every month into these grants. And then the community itself are the ones who select the winning projects. So if you're an artist who is looking for some development funding, please do check out our grants. And if you're on the industry side and want to support some of these grants that are on a topic you're passionate about, please head over to kaleidoscope.fund and learn a little bit more. We also do a lot of events. And we started basically as an event company. And we found that events are a really fantastic way to help artists raise money. If you take time to curate really high quality projects like we have with this dev showcase today, and you take time to invite decision makers and folks in the industry who are in a position to materially support projects, and you bring them together, well, magic can happen. And a lot of great projects have been funded, curated for major festivals, directly as a result of the events that we host. So please, if you're an artist, think about submitting your work to future events. And if you're on the industry side, please attend as many of the events that we host as possible, because they always have great projects and really interesting people for you to meet. And then networking, that's what we're here for, really. I mean, again, this is a relationship-based business. So take the time to reach out to folks that inspire you, that you feel like you can help, or who you think might be able to help you. And today, what I specifically want to touch on for networking is the Museum of Other Realities. Like, that's the main hub for CAN that we're using to do networking. So after this showcase, we're going to all head over to the Museum of Other Realities, and we're going to get to see the prototypes from these projects. We're going to get to talk in more depth with the artists. We're going to get to do all the social stuff that we miss dearly from doing physical events. So please do take the time to strap on your headset and head in to the museum after this event, and then throughout the rest of the 2 days of the festival. All right, let's get back to the meat of today, which is these projects entering the Mindscape. And to get started, we've got Herman with the coolest quarantine hair I've seen yet. We should have had a contest for that. We've got two big awards as part of Con, the Positron Visionary Award, and then Veer is also giving out an award. We should have had one for best quarantine hair. And in fact, we do now. I'm starting it as of this moment. Herman, you just won.
Thank you very much.
Best quarantine hair.
So I guess I will share my screen and start, right?
Please do. I mean, am I right? Like, there's no one else that I've seen so far that could compete with you, Herman. It is a gorgeous mane. Okay. It's like a lion.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you so much, René. Can you see my screen?
I can. It's coming through just fine.
Perfect. Let's start. Yeah. My name is Herman, and I am the director of Int.act, a volumetric experience about memories and love. You will be able to explore the different stages of a relationship, from the first kiss to the make or break fight, and even be a part of the outcome of the story itself. I got inspiration from this project from a 360 film that I did.
Herman, I'm gonna actually have to have you pause there. I'm so sorry. I clicked the stream button, but I'm getting messages right now that it is not streaming to the general public. So
okay, so I should start over?
Yeah, there's like 70 people that are on Zoom right now that are watching, but okay, never mind. They're saying it's okay. That would have been good to know before I interrupted you. My apologies. Here, let's take it from the top and pretend I didn't interrupt you.
Right, so yeah, it's a volumetric experience about memories and love. You will be able to explore the different kinds, different stages of a relationship, from the first kiss to the make or break fights, and even be a part of the outcome of the story itself. Inspiration is from a 360 video I did a couple of years ago, and it is in fact about a couple dancing through memories in Berlin. I wanted to take this story, put it in a new setting, and also explore the possibilities and how do you tell a story with which you can actually walk around and interact with. And here is a pre-alpha concept video of the demo that you will see on the Museums of Realities. Oops. So the story is set in a not too far distant future. A fictional company called Omnix System. They have developed an algorithm, and in combination with sensors that you put on your brain and the headset, you will actually be able to visualize the memories of the past. And also they have created various tools for you to explore your memories further on. The memories will start to be frozen in time. And in order to trigger them, you will have to get close to them. Later on, a synchronized timeline montage will start where the actors will do one single take. And as you move along them, scenes will appear and disappear. Eventually, you will end up in the living room where you will have the possibility to revisit the memories. And if you raise your hand, you will also have a possibility to reveal different layers of reality from his and her perspective. And depending on how much you interact with the story, there will be 3 slightly different endings. This is the team of the project so far that are attached. I know Christian and Tim for a very long time, and we have been working extensively with this the past year to iteration of different prototypes. 3 out of 4 game functions have been tested and verified for the Quest. We aim to shoot and make another prototype later this August, where all the game functions and storyline will be within. As next year start full production and explore special sound design and get the full piece to release. The finished piece will be aimed for Oculus Quest, but since we optimize for mobile hardware, it works on PC, AMD as well. It will be room scale and you will be able to walk around and interact. We do have ideas to make it into an installation where the player will be able to move even on a bigger space. It will be approximately 10 minutes and we are asking for $90,000 to get this project going. Do you have any questions? I'm happy to answer all of them.
Well done, Herman. Good job. Why don't you go ahead and stop sharing your screen? There we go, so we can see you nice and big. I think this project has made such improvements since we first started talking months and months ago. Really impressed with where you've gotten this presentation and the concepts behind the project have only gotten stronger. So with that, I would love to open it up to feedback, questions from our decision makers on the line. Yeah, constructive. Yeah, Paul, what's up, man?
Yes, hello, René. Thank you for this introduction. I had a question regarding the artistic direction. You show a prototype. I think you're using motion capture. Yeah, you have like a distracted effect with the motion capture. This is something you want, or you plan to make it differently or more realistic? This is the question.
Yeah, right now we actually shooting with volumetric film, so it's a slightly different technique than motion capture. But we are looking at which of them suits our artistic move the most. It is possible to attach particles into motion capture, but that's not what we're doing per se. This is actually a MP4 files with both depth data and regular data. But we aim to continue finding and tweaking our vision during the autumn.
Wonderful. Jinsu from Veer has a question for you. Come on in, Jinsu.
Hi.
Oops, let's see. She raised her hand.
Oh, sorry. I forgot to unmute myself. Hi, Herman. Yeah, this project is really beautiful. I noticed you have planned to release on Oculus Quest, and my question is, since Quest, we know it has limited computation capacity comparing to Rift. So will there be any like sacrifice on the image quality or artistic style if you want to adapt it to Quest? And also, second question, since we are a 360 platform, do you have plan to render this into a 360 version for massive distribution?
Two good questions. The quality thing, we had some issues converting it into Quest. So yes, especially, you know, the details of the point clouds. We had to lower the actual point clouds. So they will be like a slightly different, yeah, we have to keep optimizing. But our aim, and right now, our point cloud is looking almost identical. But yeah, that will be a challenge. And number two, a 360 version, definitely. As I showed you in the video, we could just think about the storyline and render out a 360 movie. So definitely, we looking into that as well.
Brilliant. We have time for one, maybe two more quick questions from our decision makers. Anyone else have thoughts, feedback, areas where they think Herman could improve?
I had a question, Renee, if I could.
Hi, Colin. Good to see you. You've been so dedicated to this. I love that you're like so focused.
It's early, man. I just didn't go to bed. Herman, thanks for the presentation. This is Colin from Oculus. Two questions. One is, it looks like depth kit, and that was my question. Is it depth kit capture? And if not, what is your capture technique? And my second question is, you mentioned a branching ending. I'm curious how pivotal that is to the experience from a narrative and interactive perspective, and how you're treating the interactive choice moment, and if there's more than one interactive choice moment for the player.
Yeah, perfect. We do use DepKit, but we have been experimenting with Breckle point cloud in version 3.0. They have really nice where you can sync multiple connects. And compared to DepKit, it's just one-time payment, which is, and the second thing, the endings, yeah. We think that either one part of the story or will have different outcomes. And it will be slightly different. It will not be totally changed of a different story. It will be, for example, if they hug in the end. And if you've been watching the girl's perspective for a longer time, maybe he's leaving or he's leaving. So when you talk later on with your friend, oh, it was so bad that the guy left. And I said, no, the boy left. Or no, they stayed together. That's how we like slightly different endings. And we aim to just have one trigger moment. We have a working concept where they will count how far you are into a different area or where you look. So yeah, that's answering the question.
Very cool. Any other questions before we move on from our decision makers? I see one right here. Miriam.
Okay.
Yes, hi, good morning. It's Miriam from the Vice Center in Montreal. Thank you for the presentation. You spoke briefly about a possible installation that would go with the piece. Did you already start to think about what it could potentially look like, the installation?
Yes. For the installation, we would pretend to be the company and welcome the guests. Let them tell something personal about the relationship, so maybe they could relate into the story. And then the difference would be that instead of 2 by 2 meters to walk around, we would like the player to maybe have 5 meters in order to follow even more. In the experience, the environment will move like a treadmill, so to speak, if they move a longer distance. But we hope to get a bigger space for the installation for the scene to be on the better place.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Wonderful. And thank you, Herman. Next up, we have Lester and Anna from, or presenting their project Remembrance. So why don't you go ahead and share your screen,
Cool.
and we'll take it from there.
Okay. Cool. Has that come up?
Oh, beautiful. Looks great.
Yep. Great.
Yes.
Okay, cool. And sure.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Thanks for listening to our pitch. I'm Anna Brady, the writer and director of Remembrance.
And I'm Lester Francois, the producer of Remembrance. Here at Studio Bento, we create content for all screens and have been focusing on VR for the last 4 years. We made the interactive VR documentary Roan, which premiered at South by Southwest in 2018 and then screened at many festivals around the world. Roan went on to win several awards for Best VR Film.
So Remembrance is an animated, interactive, fictional VR experience where we explore the memories of Felix, a shell-shocked World War I veteran, to find the source of his repressed trauma. In Remembrance, our protagonist Felix has been committed to a psychiatric hospital after returning from World War I. His psychiatrist, Dr. Meyer, believes he has repressed a traumatic event that is causing his PTSD. To find the repressed memory, Felix is hypnotized. In the experience, we enter his memories and explore the trail that leads to the shocking truth that Felix is hidden deep within his mind. Remembrance's visual style was inspired by the look of the 1920 silent film, The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. I love the bizarre look of the German expressionist sets and thought it would be amazing to be transported inside them via virtual reality. When I did some research on the film's writers, I discovered that one of them, Hans Janowitz, fought in World War I and returned traumatized, and the other, Karl Mayer, was a conscientious objector who was subjected to rigorous psychological testing because of his beliefs. Felix is a combination of these two men. In Remembrance, we start the experience in Dr. Meyer's office, embodied as Felix. We're hypnotized and then enter his memories. While inside Felix's mind, the style shifts to German expressionism to echo his troubled state. Embodied as patient Felix, we go from memory to memory, observing his past. To move from one memory to another, we must find a portal in the scene. These portals are surreal. For example, we open a shop door only to find ourselves in a train station, or we teleport inside a painting. Finally, we discover the shocking event that Felix has repressed. He killed his own twin brother in friendly fire. At the end of the experience, we return to the conscious world, and as Felix, we are asked to make a choice. We can either choose to remember that Felix killed his brother, or forget with the aid of electroshock therapy, but risk forgetting his brother altogether. What inspired Remembrance? So memory is something that I've always been really fascinated by. It's such a huge part of our identities, yet it's so fallible. We can remember something completely differently to how it actually happened. I find it quite disturbing that our memories, our backstories really, could be falsehoods. So my first memory is from when I was 3 or 4, and it's of my mum gardening on a beautiful summer's day. The image is really clear in my mind, but we also have a family photo of the exact same moment. And I always wonder if I've just generated this memory from that photo. Felix's story is an exploration of this idea. Can we really trust our own memories? So this fascination with unreliable memories and the film The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari have come together to form Remembrance. We feel that the gripping narrative and the unique German expressionist style will make Remembrance a striking experience. And by utilizing the power of a game engine, we will create strange, dreamlike moments and surreal portals that take us from memory to memory. Here's the trailer for Remembrance.
this?
I've been stuck in the same loop. I don't know
Yeah.
why. Try
I
hitting
won't-
the escape button. I think that gets you out of like the full screen mode, or that little X right, and you see it like.
Oh,
there
here
we
we
go.
Hopefully, do we go to the next? Yeah, great. So Remembrance is currently in development. We have a 4th draft script and have made a small prototype for this showcase. The prototype demonstrates an early iteration of the look and feel of the experience, doesn't include story or interactive elements. Our next goal is to finalize the script and interactive design. The budget for Remembrance is 120,000 euros. We have raised 10% of the budget so far from Film Victoria, our state funding body. Our aim is to apply to our national film body, Screen Australia, for production funding, and they have taken a keen interest in the project. What we're looking for are letters of interest and partial funding to help secure production funding from Screen Australia. We'd also like to partner with film festivals, museums, and cinematheques to find a wider audience. Thanks for your time and your interest in Remembrance.
Brilliant, and thank you again. I think the only good thing about how the pandemic has changed this showcase is that it gave us all a little bit more time and energy to put into the presentations, because I have to say they've all gotten so good. They've really come a far way since the first time we saw them. Well done. I'm so excited about this project. Please jump in, decision makers. Thoughts, feedback, words of encouragement, areas for improvement. I know it's early. Exercise those brain muscles. Okay,
I can go. Sure. Thanks. Really beautiful visual style, you guys. Thank you. This is Colin from Oculus. I guess my question is if you could say a little bit more about the nature of the interactivity, or the nature of it sounded a little bit like almost a hidden object mechanic where you're trying to solve a puzzle to unlock the memories. Is that your thought?
Yeah, so when we're inside Felix's mind, we enter a memory and there's no people there, and we have to find an object to pick up, and that triggers the people appearing in the scene, and then the memory plays out, and then the people disappear, and then you have to find another object to trigger the portal into the next memory. So it's just sort of like finding your way from memory to memory until you find the event that he's repressed.
Yeah, and just to expand on that, so each memory is like a scene, and we land in the scene and the environment, and we have to explore the environment. So a bit of environmental storytelling, and then we find an object we interact with that'll trigger the characters appearing, and a bit of narrative will play out. The characters will fade away, and then we have to continue a bit more exploring to find this portal that'll trigger the next scene.
Cool. We've got one question from the chat log here. And so, yeah, if anybody's watching on Zoom or on Kaleidoscope, you can throw in a question on the chat log and I'll ask it on your behalf. So someone's asking, where'd it go? Anna and Lester, are you considering a German co-production? Would you be looking for co-producers to support you on this project?
Yeah, we were just talking about that the other day. We'd love to do a German co-production. I think that'll be a really good fit.
Wonderful. And it looks like we've got something from Wendy as well. We'll have great international appeal. I'm on Zoom, but don't see how to make a comment verbally, so I'm just writing it here. Great concept, but also universal appeal. Thank you, Wendy. All right, great. Any other questions, thoughts, feedback from our decision makers? What resonated with you? What were things that were a little confusing that you want clarity on? This is also a good opportunity just to help them hone their pitch even more. So especially if there's something that didn't make sense, please jump in and ask questions about it. Got a shy bunch today. Oh, we got a hand raised. Here we go. It looks like Jimmy. I'm recognizing your logo. Mm-hmm. Hey, buddy.
Hi.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. Good to see you. I think some of you guys already got the emails. I'm trying to close some deals, but hi, Lester, and it's good to see you guys again. We were actually talking about this concept before, and I'm fully interested in the distribution in the future. But since right now we do have pandemic, and of course like the 6-star version, room scale version is always the best. But if from Iconic Engine's perspective at this moment, while we're still, you know, focusing on the 360 version of the content, I would like to understand how you guys can transfer, you know, this concept into a traditional 360 format. Does this will like ruin the concept, or this will still actually work, but it just become, you know, a maybe lower spec and also like without the interaction?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, our room scale interactive version, you know, is ideal, but we will be able to port it to a 360 version, an interactive 360 version, 3DOF interactive with a slight bit of interactivity, and then a passive 360 version as well. So, you know, the project will come in different flavors for different distribution platforms.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm all good with it. Thank you.
Brilliant. Lester and Anna, great work. I did try your prototype briefly while I was making sure everything was working in the more, but I want to spend some more time in it. It's really beautiful.
Great, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay, next up, we've got Tesla's Mindscape. Vesna and Victoria will be presenting. If you wouldn't mind going ahead and sharing your screen.
Yeah. Hi.
Hello.
Can everyone see?
I can see something. It doesn't look like your presentation yet. I'm seeing.
Hang on.
There we go. That looks like your trailer.
It is. Oh,
Okay,
it's together on one video, and we're just kind of talking over it.
Okay, perfect. Yes, I see that now. And by the way, if Herman wins best quarantine hair, you win best custom Zoom background. It is beyond dope. It's so cool.
Yay.
Can you start a cult at some point, and can I join? Because this is the video feed I would want to wake up to every morning for my digital cult.
We can definitely do that.
All right, take it away.
Ready. Hello, we are the creators of Tesla's Mindscape, and we invite you to dive into the subconscious waters of one of the greatest minds in human history.
Hi, my name is Vesna Petrosian. I'm the creative director, artist, writer, and musician behind the project. And the work and philosophy of Nikola Tesla has always been present in my life. From the endeavors I've seen with my scientist father in fusion and flow dynamics, to the more recent witnessing of my own exchanges at CERN with particle physicists. Now I'm an exiled performative contemporary artist who is very much inspired by physics and metaphysics, and I try to incorporate this in my work. However, 7 years ago, I had a near-death experience which involved some electrical current, and that profoundly changed me and brought me to the concept of this project. So what would it be like to experience pure consciousness of a genius with no material bodily constraints? How can we transmute an intimate spiritual transition, such as death, into something positive, that, like an audience-based experience? How can we push the power of exile while also raising awareness about clean energy as a social, creative, and technological necessity?
Tesla's Mindscape changed the notions of how biopics are experienced by audiences, empowering users to traverse the neural pathways of world-revered pioneer Nikola Tesla and enter the architecture of his memory and imagination that has remained uncharted until now. As it's often said, before you die, your life flashes before your eyes. The experience starts at the time of Tesla's mysterious death, when he leaves his material body and enters the realm of pure abstract consciousness. We join him on this intimate journey into his cognitive landscape, where his inventions and experiments come to life, whilst he prepares to leave our corporeal plane.
Well, the VR experience is actually presented as this beautiful abstract labyrinth, which is Tesla's Mindscape for the player to drift through. Within, they can find 9 planets representing micro-narratives about Tesla's memories, ideas, and inventions. And our first micro-narrative is actually his death, a car crash noise with a flash of light, and the flight of the single white dove he fell in love with before his death. The dropping of pearls on a hard floor from a memory of him wanting to dare them off a lady at a function, and the obsessive repetition of number 3 and some otherworldly opera. That's our introduction into his world. And since many of Tesla's theories also involve cymatics, the geometry of the vibration of water, we intend to enhance the audience immersion in these live XR experiences and a feeling of an out-of-body experience by installing a vibrating sound of players' feet.
To pay homage to Tesla's love of the numbers 3, 6, and 9, we've organized the VR environment with 9 planets to a triptych. Each of these 3 constellations of the triptych contains 3 micro-narratives. Every 6 months, a constellation will be released as an immersive public installation. Starting in the Christmas period of 2020, the second and the third release will build upon the complexity in narratives and visual effects. By the end of 2021, the series will culminate in a VR product for a single player that incorporates all 9 environments.
In our team, we've had a solid network of both individuals and organizations from art, science, education, and media, and they've supported our first initial research and development of experimental short projects we made in VR and XR and some AR works as well.
My name is Victoria. Me and my business partner Natasha are co-founders of the Art Science Collective Visualogical. We are committed to creating stimulating systems of social investigation, introspection, and intervention.
We have secured 36K for the first stage research, concept development, and testing, and now we are seeking 114K for each of these 3 constellations to be deployed progressively, and that will then culminate in the release of the VR project as a triptych. Thank you so much for listening, and we're happy to answer any questions, of course.
Well done. Thank you. All right, decision makers, what questions, feedback do you have? What areas were not clear that you want cleared up? We got one from Toby, and then it looks like Kane. Toby, take it away.
Hi, thank you very much for the presentation. It's a very, very interesting project. In the later part of the presentation, you talked a bit about narrative, and I'm not sure whether I wasn't clear or whether it could be embellished more. For the actual narrative as an audience member, what is the narrative that you're getting, or is the experience in VR more experiential, and it's actually the information around the outside of the project that clearly communicates what the narrative is? Does that make sense?
Yes, so there are 9 pockets of these experiences that are actually connected to the memories. As we die, basically then the memories flash before our eyes. And we wanted to connect these memories to not just moments in Tesla's life, but actually to his ideas. So the audience will be taken on this journey with a narrator, and you'll be able to see that in a prototype, to basically give the context, and then enter all these pockets of narratives, these little planets of experience that will then connect into a story, just highlighting the biggest inventions and also personal moments in his life.
Okay, cool, thank you.
And then I think Kane had a question, and then we'll do Rosie.
Hi, I really enjoyed the scope of the presentation. I think it's really interesting. I had a question. There was a moment where you were talking about cymatics and this sort of vibration of water, and then I think the audio cut out a little bit, and I was curious if that was an interactive component, or if you could elaborate on that a little bit further.
Yeah, I could do that. So the idea is that we want, through XR, we want to transform the audience into an actual tool that transmits the experience itself. So the idea is that during the release as an XR immersive experience, we'd have these vibrating pools, which relates back to Tesla's study into cymatics and basically the geometry of how water vibrates into patterns. And because Vesna's background is an operatic singer, the soundscape would be communicated in kind of a 3-dimensional experience with the user behaving as a pyre almost. And so they would feel the bass tones of the opera through their feet, which at the same time as experiencing music in a different way. It would also induce the experience of, if you have your feet in some vibrating water, it makes your feet feel numb, which would create the feeling that you're actually floating in space and that you're not just stood on the ground, which would kind of increase the feeling that you're floating around and you're kind of outside of a corporeal body.
Cool. Thank you.
Brilliant. And then I think Rosie had a question from Veer. Come on in, Rosie.
Yes. Hi, Victoria.
Hi.
Nice to see you again. Yes, I think it's a very, very beautiful and intriguing project, and the idea of making people stay in the water and feel numb and feel loose gravity is amazing. And I'm very interested in the model you just mentioned about like the release for like divided the release by 3 times, and each time that you want investors to go in 114 each time. Could you explain more on that? Hi.
Vesna, maybe you want to do.
Yeah, perhaps I can just jump in. Basically, we decided on this 3-6-9 model, not just to sort of give homage to Tesla's numbers, but also to allow us to establish more of a collaborative connection with our investors and with all the teams, so that we can actually create that almost as a series progressively to test and launch the first 3 experiences, and then launch the next constellation, and then the 3rd constellation. And by the time we have reached the endpoint, the 9 experiences, they can also then become launched as a single player VR experience. So that's to be released on gaming platforms. So not just as a piece that needs to be experienced live in a shared environment as an XR installation.
Cool, great. Well, thank you so much for your project. If there's any other questions, please do meet us in the museum after this is over. Let's move on to our final presentation. Yeah, clap, clap, clap. Welcome Jay and Mina, who will be presenting Find Willy. Go ahead and share your screen.
Thank you, René. Here I go. Is it good?
Looks good. I can still see your the Chrome at the top of your thing. You might want to go full screen. It might look a little nicer. But this also works if yeah, there you go. Perfect.
Okay. Hello everyone, my name is Mina Hyun, creator of Find Willy.
Oh, we are seeing your notes on
sorry. Shit.
No
then
worries.
I'll just remain as a Chrome bar. I'll just put it that way.
Okay, perfect. Take it away.
Okay. Okay. Hello everyone. My name is Mina Hyun. I'm a creator of Find Willy. And this project is presented by Kioi Immersive Storytelling Studio. Find Willy began with the question, if we could actually see our memories, what form would it be? So Leonard from Memento said, memory is not a record, but an interpretation. In other words, the world of Find Willy is continually changing its form. Let's meet the Alpha Corporation, which will show us how that world looks like. Alpha Corporation provides a human memory erasing service. They hire and send humans and robots to different time and space through their portal. Let's imagine you're just hired by Alpha. Your mission is to find and erase memories of the client inside the RAM. Alpha gives you 2 types of equipment. The HoloWatch will help you locate target memories, and the spatula is a highly efficient tool designed for sort of movements humans can do better than robots. In Find Willy's narrative structure, there are 3 principal axes: the participation of the audience as an employee, the drama of the client's memories, and the paradox of being, and interactive spatial narrative of RAM. Now you're all set to dive into the portal. This timeline shows the intersection of the 3 axes where they actively interact. A client is a man who lost his family in a fire who wants to erase his painful memories. You will realize that with traces of space. Each event will serve as a milestone in the client's suppressed memories. Let's go through the mood board to take a glimpse of RAM. The world of Find Willy is an ever-changing unconsciousness itself. Memory varies in size, density, sharpness, velocity, and volume in the space. You can also activate your spatula's hidden usage, like creating a door by slicing a specific area. However, erasing memories is not the same as taking a book out of a bookshelf. It's more like taking out a card in the middle from a tower of cards. By the time you notice about it, you would already be in a paradoxical situation. If you choose to stick to the mission, nothing will be left in RAM, but only voidness, the emotionless, and soon will collapse. If you're considering another option, one of it is finding a way of the client reconstruct his own memories, but you will get eliminated by the system. Alpha Corporation operates within multiple times and space, so the world will get a unique, timeless design that blends Art Nouveau. By contrasting images that are frozen or moving, you can effectively feel space-time distortion and can reconstruct your identity living in 3 dimensions. I think this world has a more significant potential than to just remain as a one-time experience. Find Willy is a science fiction adventure and will be delivered as a 6-off interactive VR experience, bringing you to the flowing mental expedition. We would like to develop the online delivery able experience first and then expand it to various forms as installations. Introducing Kioi, the best team members, René, Jay, Sukon, and there's a 5th member. We are persistently digging into the new medium and pushing boundaries. We aim high and work hard, are full of curiosity, love to listen to great stories, and are also human beings living in this COVID-19 era. These are our previous award-winning projects: 9VR, Eyes in the Red Wind, Shake Up, and SpaceX Girl. And introducing our key artists, VR artist who makes breathtaking artworks. Find Willy is still in the early stage of development. To move this project from here to the next level, Blood is working on creating the world and visuals. When pain is over, the remembrance of it often becomes a pleasure. Thank you.
And thank you for giving that presentation. All right, you know the drill, decision makers. Feedback, areas of confusion that you need cleared. Toby, I see a hand raised, jump in.
Hi, thank you very much for that. I think it's a really lovely project. I really, really like the idea of it. And my main point is just to say how strong it is as a concept, and wish you all the best with getting it made. I had just one question, which was in terms of the potential for me to be eliminated by the system, or if I am definitely eliminated by the system if I don't stick to the mission. Am I aware of that at the beginning, or is that like, is it an objective of mine not to be eliminated and therefore I don't stray from the mission, or is that you find that out along the way?
So the early experiences will focus on erasing memories. That experience might be quite fun. And where you meet the big lump of memories will be that looks disgusting. And that will be the main turning point, whether to finally erase the client's existence and whether to rebuild his mind. But and I didn't mention, but there is some kind of vague, ghostly existence who is the client's daughter. And the memories that you erase during the experience remain in the desert, which is a space like a backup storage, and you can take action to get the desired results using those pieces. Was it clear?
I think so, yeah. Thank you.
Wonderful. Who else has got a question? Areas that they need cleared up, areas that they think were strong and want to highlight? I saw your engaged faces while the presentation was happening, so I know you were paying attention. There must be some questions that you have. Kane, there you are. I could tell. I knew you were going to come.
Hey, Mina. Hey, Jay.
Hey.
Hi. Hey, I think it would be super helpful. Like, could you maybe walk us through, like, you know, like an example of going through this experience and really sort of like what the full interactive potential of you know, sort of molding and manipulating and erasing the memories would be?
You mean you want to know the exact interaction type?
Yeah, just a. I was a little bit. If you could just give an example of like what one of your best use cases might be going through this.
Oh, so as as the image shown in the presentation, there was these actions might be like spreading peanut butter on the bread with exact pressure or smoothness kind of, and also can be like scraping the gum under your desk kind of.
Okay. Cool.
Those are great examples.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, any other thoughts, feedback, questions before we adjourn to the museum? Ah, Jane, come on in, Jane.
Hi. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, hi, Jane.
We can hear you.
Yeah, but I just couldn't, you know, turn on my video, so I would just like speak through my microphone anyway. So congratulations on getting to this far, and really great presentations, Mina. It's beautiful. It's like a poem, and I like how you quote this beautiful sentence before and at the end of the presentation. And you know, because we're, you know, because from the viewer's perspective, we're more kind of on the distribution side. So you know, with this project, we're curious what type of audience you think in mind are you wish to experience this kind of content, this journey. What are the target audience? What are the locations or scenarios you think people are experiencing this piece? Thank you.
It quite looks serious on this presentation, but I want to put some wits or fun things inside the experience so that I want to meet as many audiences as I can. Like as an example, like Museum of Other Realities is when you experience it alone, or if you experience with other people, it's totally different experience. So when you walk alone inside MOR, it's poetic, kind of. And if you hang out with other people, its level changes to some other level. So I don't know how to end the answer, but I want to meet all kind of audiences. But for installation, I can make it a little bit more artistic.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Well, thank you all for your time and energy and being so dedicated to your crafts. I'm really impressed with all the artists. I know you've worked so hard to get your projects where they are, and we need to come together as a community to make sure these works see the light of day and make it across the finish line. So if you can help in any way, please do, whether that's feedback, whether that's funding, whether that's distribution, whether that's just a high five. Do what you can to help these artists. They very much need it. So with that, I'm going to wish everyone a good day and hope to see you in the museum momentarily. All right. Ciao, everyone.